Hi everyone, my name is Sarah Bunkin and I'm going to spend the next few minutes telling you a little bit about myself and about the course. So what you see on the screen right now is something the students see at the beginning of each Zoom. So I have on there my email address. Please feel free to email me if you have any questions, comments, concerns, and the agenda, which for right now, it's going to be, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself and I'm going to tell you about this course. Okay, so let me stop the screen share so I can tell you just a little bit about me. So this is actually my second year teaching at Half Moon Bay High School, but it is my 12th or 13th year of teaching. So I started teaching a while back down in Southern California, and then I taught for 10 years at Woodside High School in the social studies department. After that, I took about 12 years off to raise my 3 children. I have 3 kids here in Cabrillo Unified School District. 2 are at the high school. And during that time, I stayed really involved in the schools. I actually worked coaching new teachers, but I had this calling to come back to the classroom. And actually a call is what I got last year. In September, Mr. Nazar called and said there was a new section of freshman social studies that they had to create last minute and wanted to see if I'd come teach it. So after being out of the classroom for 12 years, that Monday I walked back into the classroom and it really was an amazing experience and kind of made me want to become even more part of the Half Moon Bay High School community. So this year I'm teaching 3 classes. And one of them is positive psychology. I also teach AP psychology and AVID. Teaching positive psychology was a dream of mine. While I was out of the classroom raising my kids, I became slightly obsessed with aspects of positive psychology and was constantly reading books, practicing mindfulness, going to different seminars, classes, study groups, and looking at practicing various aspects of positive psychology myself. So when I came back to teaching, I proposed the idea to Mr. Nazar, and he and Mr. Boysen really were very supportive of this class and helped me get it funded and enrolled and funded by CEF. Thank you, CEF. There's my shameless product placement. And now here I am on back to school night telling you about this course, which for me is a dream come true. So let me tell you a little bit more about positive psychology and what I love about it. So I'm going to share my screen again. Okay, so positive psychology came about because previously in psychology, the idea was kind of taking as the disease model where we took people who were suffering or had something wrong with them and tried to get them back up to neutral. But positive psychology is the idea of how do we go north of neutral? How do we find the good life? How do we find happiness? How do we flourish? How do we find well-being in our life? So the idea is the absence of something wrong does not necessarily mean something is right. If we take away the negative, the sadness, whatever, and that's it, we're left feeling empty. How do we feel fulfilled? So it is the scientific study of what makes life worth living. And you could see on your screen the various topics that we're going to include. So we already did our introductory unit in class of what is happiness. You can ask your student about that. And what we're getting to next is how to increase positive emotions. One way is through gratitude. Mindfulness will be something we will do each week in class. It's a big part of my life, and I'm really excited to share that with the students. Finding meaning is one of our main parts of positive psychology, to start talking about what brings meaning to our life, because part of having well-being in your life is not just happiness in the moment or having positive emotions, but feeling like your life has meaning. We'll look at how to build optimism. Improving relationships, we started talking about this and how having strong relationships make you happier and healthier. And it's what people who, research has shown. We looked at the Harvard study of adult men, and it showed that the people in that study who had stronger relationships, lived longer, had better memory, and there's a whole host of benefits from having strong relationships in your life. One way to have strong relationships is through compassionate communication, and in general, just having more compassion and empathy brings more well-being. We'll look at setting and achieving goals and ways to do that, how to savor our positive experiences and draw out the good. Oh, we're going to do this soon, is we'll look at our strengths. The students will take a survey and look at their strengths and how they can use their strengths in new ways. And another thing we'll look at is how to examine cognitive distortions. So our thinking traps, where we think, all or nothing thinking, or we generalize that things are always going to go bad, or that's catastrophizing, and how we can look at our thoughts more realistically and not always believe our thoughts, which also ties into mindfulness and being more aware of what's happening in the moment. So this just is just one list where there's going to be many more things that we'll look at in this class. And I do want to point out is the scientific study of what makes life worth living. So all of the interventions and what I'll tell you later is our rewirements or activities that we're going to do are based on science. They've been scientifically studied and replicated multiple times, showing that they do increase happiness. It's not just my idea of what might work. I take it all based on what scientists have already said. I'll skip that slide. Okay, so the way the course is set up is in class we discuss things, we have various activities, I present information, we watch a video, we work on kind of understanding concepts, and then the students practice them. So I already mentioned it's scientifically based. The way we practice them are these rewirements, is what we call them, these rewirements. And the first one that we're going to start with is the 3 good things. So I'll come back to this. We'll practice mindfulness, and you can look at these. These are all have shown to increase happiness, people who have practiced them. And when we say happiness, again, I mean well-being, positive emotions, and more meaning in your life. So I want to tell you as my last parting words about the 3 good things rewirement exercise that the students are working on now. I just assigned it. By the time you watch this video, they're probably at the tail end of it. And I'm going to challenge you all to do this rewirement, this positive psychology intervention as well. So for the 3 good things exercise, what you do each night, and I've asked the kids to do this 7 nights. They have 14 days to do this 7 times, is you want to write down 3, not just 3 good things that happened to you that day, but why. Why did those 3 things happen? What was the cause of them? So this exercise has been done, and it has shown that people who do this for 7 days not only are happier 1 month, 3 months, but 6 months out. They show lower rates. They studied people with depression. They showed increased happiness 6 months out after doing this for 7 days, and also increased rates of optimism. So let me stop my screen share, and I'll just finish up explaining about the 3 good things. So there's lots of benefits. One important part of this 3 good things is not just writing what happened that was good, but to explain your reason why. And the reason this works is 1, you start scanning the world for good, and 2, you look at deeper reasons for things happening, and which creates more gratitude. So an example I have that just happened recently is my finger was infected, and my husband suggested I put cold on it, put some ice, and then dip it into some hot water. And he went and got the hot water for me. And that was a really good thing that happened that day. The reason why it happened was because my husband cares and he's generous. And that's a good reminder for me to feel that about someone I love. So I want to challenge you guys. It's a great exercise, and your students are doing it. So maybe you can do it as well. 7 days, 3 good things. Thanks for listening to this. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, you want to share, how the 3 good things went for you, share anything with our class, please feel free to reach out and be part of this amazing journey that we're on. Thank you.